you know, move right in there in the top few guys and hopefully win this thing.
Oh, I think he's a contender for sure. As you see him jump that long plateau right there. Geez, you messed that up and you're going for a swim. We talked about that earlier. You know, I'm glad to see him in the 250 class. He's done all that he can do in the 125s, 2 titles in a row. I think he belongs on a 250. It's just going to be easier for him to ride that bike all year long instead of having to switch back and forth all the time.
Well, on the backside, while we were hearing from Doug, he got around Kyle Lewis. He moved into the 4th position, and now you see Kudrowski making a bid for the 5th spot as we get ready to head down that big drop as they'll come around this left-hander, drop at least 3 stories. Then you have to go another right-hander up top. And oh, look at Kudrowski. Kudrowski trying to make the move to go into 5th place and just basically got in there just a little too hard. The rear wheel washed out, and he goes down. Now he's trying to refire the bike.
Well, you know, when you fall like that, all that humidity and heat catches up with you. It's so hard to get going again. And he dropped the bike pretty hard. We're going to get another look at it right here. He just tries to go up the inside and possibly being a little polite and not wanting to get out there and do any kind of harm to Kyle Lewis. He goes down the process. A lot of times you bend the bars, you bend the levers, tear the grips, and it really wrecks your concentration for the rest of the race.
Well, right now, Doug Henry has his sights set on 3rd place, being held currently by Larry Ward. As we take a look at the Suzuki Field Summary, we'll be back with more from Gainesville right after this. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and John Kernan welcome you back to Gatorback Cycle Park just outside of Gainesville, Florida. And the man you're watching right now, number 111, Greg Albertine, is your leader. You haven't seen much of him earlier because he got off to such a big lead. But the defending national champion, Mike LaRocco, is beginning to close the gap, David.
He sure is. He's got him within sights. And, you know, this is what LaRocco does so well. He's able to get off to a decent start. And he just sets his sights on the leader, starts chipping away, makes these guys nervous. This looks like last year when he was chasing down Brian Swink, but he wasn't able to make that pass. See if he can do it today.
Well, there you see a signboard held by his father, Mike Sr. Let's check in with Art.
Mike Sr., you look very confident in your sign to Mike Jr. out there. He's picking up valuable seconds every lap.
Yeah, and we're just now pushing halfway. I feel confident. He feels confident. We're not putting our foot in our mouth. We're just going for it.
A little non-committal there, don't you think, David?
Yeah, well, you know, last year he was chasing down Brian Swink, and we asked him what he thought, and he thought his son was going to be able to make that pass, and he couldn't. And really, Albertine's kind of a mystery in the outdoors. No one really knows how fast he can go or how long he can go this pace.
Well, the world champion, of course, they don't race the 30-minute motos, right? They do 3 20 minutes.
Well, he's got the endurance. There's no doubt about that. I'm not sure if he's used to this humidity, though. It's definitely hot out there, and he looks pretty good right now. But LaRocco, as he closes ground, that's going to make Albertine nervous. And a lot of guys have their arms pump up when they get nervous. They start riding defensive, and then it's all over.
Well, now we look back at 3rd place. You see Larry Ward. Look at that, David. He's kind of shaking his right hand. I wonder if there's a problem with his wrist. But right now, if that's not the case, he's got a problem with Doug Henry, who wants that spot.
Well, he gets it, too, right up the inside. Doesn't waste any time for that. And that was a weird move by Ward. He doesn't seem to be riding as aggressive as he was earlier. Here's another look at it. It looks like maybe his arm's pumping up, and he's just trying to shake it out. You're just cruising through that long sweeper there. Doug Henry just takes advantage, goes right to the inside. I don't know if Larry Ward realizes he's that close already.
Well, Doug Henry has moved into 3rd place. We heard from him a little bit earlier. Been very impressive in his 250 debut. Let's check into Doug's pit now with Art Ekman, who's standing by with Pete Steinbrecher.
Doug has won one of the biggest victories within the race in that battle for 3rd place. Does he have the time now to catch up to the leaders?
I don't think he's got the time to catch up to the leaders. Those guys, they got such a lead on him that it's very difficult for a rider to catch up unless maybe he can see him a little bit. And as you can see, that they got some time on him.
Well, he's starting to look comfortable now in the 250 in this portion of the race.
Yeah, he likes his 250, and I think for the rest of this race, we're going to have to keep him ahead in 3rd place and try to go after those guys in the 2nd moto.
Well, you know, all you can really do once you're in 3rd and you're all alone like that, it's a lonely place. But you just try to focus on riding as fast as you can in case one of those riders in front of him has a problem. Then you can capitalize on it. And to think about how the track's going to start to develop as the 2nd moto gets underway, and to sort of have that in mind between races and be able to get out to a quicker start in the 2nd moto.
Now we look at the battle for the 4th spot. There is Larry Ward. He continues to slow. Ezra Lusk moves around, and we saw the number 3 Honda in there. He comes right into picture sliding into your living room, and that is Jeremy McGrath, the defending Supercross champion, and just been dominant on the Supercross series this year so far.
Well, that was a pretty strong move on the inside of Larry Ward. Larry Ward definitely has a problem. He's dropped back. Guys are passing him left and right, but McGrath is on the move. He came from way back. You saw how bad of a start he got. And with the flu and the humidity and coming through traffic like that, I'm pretty impressed. You know, he's not an outdoor rider, but he looks good today.
Well, he must have been feeling better because last night I saw him playing some pool. But he did get to bed early, I think. There you see Doug Henry taking that outside line, and now we move back up front as there you see some of the lap traffic as Greg Albertine appears to have either slowed down or Mike LaRocco has sped up because LaRocco has caught him.
You saw Albertine just kind of looked over his shoulder. There's no one where he was looking. The guy he needs to be concerned about is right behind him, and problems for John Dowd. That's that elevator. I can only assume he was trying to do that double jump and went down in the process.
Must have endoed that thing, end over end, Dowd down. You can see the lever's been on that bike. He's trying to get it refired, and I tell you what, doing an endo up there can do a lot of damage to the bike. We'll have to see how that plays out in the second moto. But now we've got a battle for third place. The Honda Red Rider teammates, Doug Henry, who is in third, is being challenged by Jeremy McGrath. And Jeremy this week sporting a new look. He shaved off his goatee.
Well, it definitely cut down on his drag coefficient. Right here, he's reeled in Doug Henry. We mentioned just a moment ago, Henry was out there all alone, but McGrath on the move, closes the gap, and it looks inevitable he's going to get around Henry as fast as he caught up.
We are in the closing stages of Moto #1, and Albertine continues to lead it. Once again, just refreshing your memory if you're a Supercross fan. Outdoors, we run 2 30-minute motos plus 2 laps at the end. Things are winding down. A couple of laps to go. Greg Albertine, 3-time world champion, trying to hold off the defending series champion, Mike LaRocco.
LaRocco trying everything. He's going inside. He's going outside. He's working on Albertine. That's going to be good. And here's another battle of the 2 Honda teammates. We got a nice inside pass by McGrath. He didn't have a whole lot of room there. He just sort of made a line. There you get a glimpse of Jeff Emig, who we haven't seen much of, and Mike Kadrasky. Remember, he crashed earlier. He's regrouped and stayed with this group, and I'm impressed with that.
That was a very impressive charge toward the front for Jeremy McGrath, the Supercross champion, David. The knock on him over the years has been he's not an outdoor rider, but it looks like he's got it together this year.
Well, he has something to prove, and he needs to get it proven in this first race, and that's tough to do with the flu. And you know, the conditioning that he's in this year, I think, allows him to have this kind of performance being sick.
Well, as we said, 102-degree temperature. Now his mechanic, Skip Norfolk, also has been ill this week. He's standing by with Art Ekman.
After a week of both of you being sick, this is a phenomenal comeback for Jeremy McGrath in this race.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. He seems to be gaining a little bit of strength here at the end of the moto. Jim Anderson and Showa got the bike working really nice. He's able to save a lot of energy because of that, and hopefully it's paying off right now. He looks pretty strong here. We got about 6 minutes left.
Jeremy McGrath's really having to reach down deep to come up with this third place. You know, I mean, he's got to feel terrible. The flu, the humidity, coming from behind, and he looks tired. And I don't think he was seeing that same performance last year. And Mike Kadrasky's down again. This looks like the same section where Henry was using that fine line up on the edge. It's very technical, and he paid the price.
Meanwhile, back up front, next to last lap, and Mike LaRocco, the defending 250 national champion, has finally chased down and passed the 3-time world champion, Greg Albertine.
Well, it's an awesome plateau. You see all the air they're getting off it. Look at LaRocco. He's building all his momentum around the outside. Right there, Albertine missed a shift coming out of the inside. You know, when you use that rougher inside line, it's hard to maintain your momentum, and you're trying to shift in the middle of all those bumps. And that's where it looked like LaRocco's making up all his time and where he's able to make the pass.
Well, the white flag out. We are on the final lap. Let's take a look at the pass for the lead.
Well, this is another section on the racetrack where LaRocco's making up time. Albertine felt that he needed to protect the inside. What happened was LaRocco went to the outside, carried more momentum, and was able to get more drive out of the corner.
And now LaRocco just on a Sunday afternoon ride around the Gatorback Cycle Park through the pits, and the fans cheering wildly. He will come up top of the hill, and yes, there's the checkered flag. Mike LaRocco wins the first moto of 1995. Greg Albertine, the 3-time world champion, comes home in the second spot, and he's got to be very pleased with that. A lot of us didn't know what to expect from the world champion, but a fine showing in the first moto. As you take a look at the top 5, Jeff Emig in 4th, Doug Henry fades back to 5th. As we look at the rest of the top 10, let's check in with Art Ekman, who has caught up with the winner, Mike LaRocco.